Hi guys, welcome back. This week we're going to be talking a little bit about some more Russian mistakes in English, following on from what we were talking about before in pronunciation, part 1. Today I'm going to be discussing 5 typical mistakes that Russian people often make in English pronunciation. So if we start here with number 1, you have the sound th and s. The and z, and a word which all Russians, or almost all Russians, find very difficult in English is the word clothes, and we'll be coming on to that very shortly. To start with, what you'll see in Russian, if you compare English and Russian, is that you have this one and you have this one. So we wouldn't expect these to be a problem because they exist in Russian. So you have s in the same way that we have s, you have z in the same way that we have z. I don't see any difference in the pronunciation there. But in addition to these sounds in English, we have a th and we have a the sound, as in something like think and sink, right? So that's what we call a minimal pair. So these words are identical except in one sound. So this creates a problem if you're not 100% clear with your pronunciation of th and s. So if you said something in between these sounds, a mixture of the two, or if you said just s instead of th, as a person listening to your English, I would think that you were talking about this word, that you meant to say that and not that one. So that's a problem. So you can practice these by using minimal pairs, by using tongue twisters in English, and nonsense sentences that compare minimal pairs. So that's a very good, I'll write that over here, minimal pairs. That's a very good way of practicing those, using minimal pairs. The key here, if you're talking about pronunciation, if you look at my mouth, when we pronounce s, there's no obstruction there. The tongue is not stopping the sound, the air from coming out of my mouth. So when we say s, the tongue is not there in the middle. But when we pronounce th, you can probably see, you should be able to see the tip of the tongue between the teeth. So one way to practice this is to use a mirror. So when no one's home, go into the bathroom or take your little mirror and practice looking at the position of your tongue in your mouth. So if you can't see your tongue, you're probably not pronouncing this sound correctly. So practice this transition between s and the th sound, where the tongue is between the teeth. Coming over here with the and z, it's a similar situation with the tongue. When you're learning to speak English in the beginning, I think this is quite a strange feeling in the mouth, that it's not very familiar to you from your language. So it takes some adaptation, takes some getting used to. So this is another one that you can pronounce, that you can practice, that will help you to pronounce clothes. So here it's the, so again the tongue is between the teeth, the, and the tongue is also vibrating, it's moving, the, so you can see my tongue there, right? So again, in the mirror you would want to see your tongue in the mirror, and the z, there's no tongue visible there. Okay, so coming over here to this very difficult word, the secret to pronouncing this correctly in English is not to say close, as in like close the door, although some people use that as a pronunciation in vernacular forms of English. What you want to do is make a smooth transition between the and z. So that's what you need to do to pronounce clothes right. So we're interested in this part here. So what we want to say is clothes, z. So you have the tongue in the mouth, it's vibrating, and then you're taking it out. So it's clo, z. So you're pulling the tongue out from between the teeth. Clo, z. You're pulling it out. Right? So that's a good one to practice at home. Very, very common mistake for Russians to make there. Moving on to number 2. This one will be very familiar. The rolling R. So this is difficult for English people when we're learning Russian. So the r, this rolling sound is very odd for us. It's very strange because we don't have it in English. And equally to Russian people, the soft r that we have in English, which is similar to w, similar to a l sound, they're in the same category. You have to pronounce the English R as a r, not r. This will be incorrect in English. One interesting thing that I noticed in the 2 languages is that when we're small kids, we also have problems with the R. In English, when I was a small child, I was a fan of a character on TV, on children's TV, called Roland Rat. And R, he was a rat. R, Roland Rat, right? So he's a R with the soft R sound. But that was too difficult for me to pronounce as a small child. It's quite a challenging sound. So instead of saying Roland Rat, I would say Woland Wat. So it's very common for English children, before they learn to produce the r, the soft sound, we say w. And equally in Russian, what I heard is that instead of saying something like riba, the r is difficult for Russian children. So when they're learning it, they would often say something like liba. Right? It's the L, the L, and the R are a similar sound in Russian as the R and the W are similar in English. Quite an interesting comparison there. So they're similar. Moving on to number 3. This is something which is connected with RP, which is received pronunciation. It's like the Queen's English. Lots of universities and schools and teachers and so on in Russia use the very classical form of English, so it's a little bit old-fashioned. We don't use that so much now. I think it's only about 1 or maybe 2% of the entire English-speaking population of the UK who would use that. So you want to stay away from that and speak something which is closer to the standard. The example that I know is with something like supermarket and suit. So you'll notice that my pronunciation is this one. So it's like suit. So it's like, you could have the name as well, like Susan. So this is pronounced Susan, but not Susan, right? Not Sue. So it's not this one. It's this one that we want. And the same with suit. So it's suit, not suit. And it's supermarket, not supermarket. Can you hear the difference there? So that's old-fashioned pronunciation. We don't really use that now, so I would avoid that. This is much more usual. So suit, supermarket, and Susan, not supermarket and suit and Susan. Right? That's unusual. Moving on to number 4 here, we have a. Now, these short vowels are difficult, I think, for Russian sometimes, because yours tend to be longer. I mean, you do have things like e. So if you're talking about just length in something like etto, right? E is the shortness that you want with your English short vowels. So you have a in Russian, like akula, right? A. It's a longer sound, whereas we would have a. It's very short. So here, Russian tend not to have a problem really with a, but it's the distinction between the a and the other short vowels. So here we have a and we have a. Right? It's an open type vowel sound. Here with words like money, funny, and honey, Russians have a tendency to pronounce this as manny and fanny, which is not a particularly good word in English, and hanny, something like that, right? So you don't want this in here. You don't want the a. You want a kind of a sound. So this is money. This is funny, and this is honey, right? So that's different. And the final one, number 5 here. I did mention this one in the first part on pronunciation 1. It's the French connection in the two languages. So we have lots of French words in English, and you also have French words in Russian. But although we borrowed the words from the same source, we pronounce them differently. So here we have cafe. We could equally have, you can see the accent on the E there, you see. So we have cafe, we have résumé, it's a long A sound, we have buffet, ballet, bouquet. We have plenty of words from French with this long A ending. In Russian, when you're pronouncing our words in English, you tend to say café or résumé, right? You make it short. That is incorrect pronunciation in English. So you have to remember here to have a long A, right? A long A sound rather than the clip, the short eh that you would have in Russian. Okay, that's all for today. Don't forget to check out our website, onlineteachersuk.com. I'll see you next time.